Standard Grand Prix results, changes to the SCG Tour leaderboard, and Commander previews abound. It's October 24th, I'm Jeremy Knoll, and this is Split Second. This past weekend, Milwaukee played host to the SCG Tour. The Modern Open main event had a diverse top 8 with 7 different archetypes. The 2 copies of Dredge were played by Team Cardhoarder members Kent Ketter and Jacob Baugh, with the rest of the top 8 consisting of Zoo, Jeskai Flash, Affinity, Scapeshift, Ad Nauseam, and the winning deck list Bant Spirits, piloted by Caleb Durward. The Legacy Classic also had 7 different archetypes, including Colorless Eldrazi, Elves, Reanimator, Death and Taxes, Miracles, Jeskai Control, and 2 copies of Aluren, one of which was piloted by Alexander Barnett to a first-place finish. Some of the biggest tour news, however, comes from the Standard Classic, which was taken down by Brad Carpenter for his second Classic win this season. With the points that Carpenter earned from his finish, he now tops both the Season 3 leaderboard as well as being the highest non-qualified player on the yearly leaderboard. If Carpenter continues to stay on top of both leaderboards, the seasonal qualification will lock him a spot for the Players' Championship, and his yearly points qualification will pass down. Congratulations to Carpenter, Barnett, and Durward on their wins in Milwaukee. Also this weekend, there were 2 Standard Grand Prix events, one in Kuala Lumpur while the other was in Providence. The top 8 of Kuala Lumpur was dominated by the White-Blue Flash deck, taking up 6 of the top 8 spots, with the other 2 spots taken up by Mardu Vehicles, one of which was piloted by the winner of the event, Fumiya Matsumoto. On the other side of the planet, in Providence, the top 8 was slightly more diverse, with 4 copies of Black-Green Delirium, 2 Red-White Vehicles, and singleton copies of Black-Red Zombie Madness and Blue-White Flash. At the end of the weekend, the trophy was hoisted by Yichin Wang, with one of the Black-Green Delirium decks. Congratulations to both Matsumoto and Wang on their wins. With 3 large standard events taking place this weekend, the card on everyone's mind is, of course, Smuggler's Copter. How did the Looter Scooter end up over the weekend? At Grand Prix Kuala Lumpur, it was a dominant force, with all 32 possible copies used in the top 8. The Standard Classic in Milwaukee had 23 copies in the top 8, with Martin Sandstrom's third-place White-Blue Flash list only using 3 copies. Finally, the Grand Prix Providence top 8 had 16 out of the possible 32 slots, with the 4 Black-Green Delirium decks not including any copies. That makes a total of 71 copies of Copter out of a possible 96 in top 8s this weekend. While most of the world was focused on Standard, Eternal Weekend was happening in Europe, with players gathering to battle in both Legacy and Vintage. The Legacy Championship took place on Saturday with almost 300 players competing for the title. In the end, it was Michel Chevalier that took the event down with Black-Red Reanimator, a deck not many people were expecting. Sunday hosted the Vintage Championship with almost 100 players sleeving up their power to play. In the end, it was Juan Mateo who came out on top with his Jeskai Mentor deck. Congratulations to Chevalier and Mateo on their victories. Today kicks off Commander 2016 previews. The Commander 2016 products include 5 pre-constructed decks that represent the 5 different 4-color combinations. On the Magic homepage today, Magic Rules Manager Matt Tabak goes over the new mechanics of the set and provides preview cards to help explain them. First up is the Partner mechanic, which allows 2 different 2-color legendary creatures to be commanders, as long as they both have Partner. To demonstrate this, Tabak previewed 2 cards with Partner. The first, Silas Wren, Seeker Adept, is a 2/2 artifact creature human for 1 blue-black with Death Touch, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may cast an artifact card from your graveyard this turn. Next up was Bruce Tarl, Boorish Herder, a 3/3 human ally for 2 red-white. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, target creature you control gains double strike and lifelink until end of turn. The next mechanic previewed is Undaunted, which reduces the cost of a spell depending on the number of opponents you're facing. As an example, Sublime Exhalation is a sorcery that destroys all creatures for 6 and a white, but the cost will decrease by 1 generic for each opponent, making it cost 5 and a white in a heads-up game. Finally, Basic Land Cycling is returning. This mechanic allows you to pay an amount of mana, typically 2 generic, and discard the card to search your library for a basic land and put it into your hand. The card previewed with Basic Land Cycling is Grave Upheaval, a sorcery for 4 black-red that allows you to put a creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, and the creature gains haste. Also on the Mothership today, Mark Rosewater's Making Magic article briefly goes over some of the design aspects of the set. One of the design elements is that many of the two-color legendary creatures will represent characters from past sets that have never been printed as cards. Rosewater's first preview card is one of these characters from the Weatherlight saga. Sidar Kondu of Jamura, a 2/5 human knight for 2 green-white that has flanking, partner, and says creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. For his next preview, Rosewater states that Ludovic from Innistrad is one of the characters that is often requested to have a card, and will have a blue-red legendary creature previewed later this week, but for now he previewed Kraum, Ludovic's Opus. The 4/4 zombie horror for 3 blue-red has flying, haste, partner, and says whenever an opponent casts his or her second spell each turn, draw a card. Also in his article, Rosewater reveals that each of the 5 decks will include 3 of the 2-color legendary creatures with partner, 1 ally-colored creature, and 2 enemy-colored creatures, but these are not the only legendary creatures in the set that can be your commander. In the final preview article for today on the Magic homepage, Commander 2016 lead designer Ethan Fleischer goes in depth on the design philosophy for the set. In the article, Fleischer also reveals one of the 4-color legendary creatures that will headline the decks. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice, is a 4/4 angel horror for green, white, blue, and black. It has flying, vigilance, death touch, and lifelink, and says at the beginning of your end step, proliferate. According to Fleischer, Atraxa is an angel created by 4 of the Praetors of New Phyrexia to be the perfect envoy. Fleischer also previewed Sylvan Reclamation, an instant for 3 green-white with basic land cycling that exiles up to 2 target artifacts and/or enchantments. Make sure to check out all these preview articles over at dailymtg.com. Continuing on with the Commander 2016 previews, the Commander in Podcast released episode 69, which provided a preview via song. Kydel, Chosen of Krufix, is a 2/3 human wizard for 2 green-blue that has partner and taps to add a colorless mana to your pool for each card you've drawn this turn. Make sure to check out the full video over on the Commander and MTG Podcast YouTube page. If you're a subscriber to the StarCityGames.com YouTube channel, you already know the final preview for today comes from myself, Justin Parnell, Stephen Green, and Jonathan Suarez from the Commander Versus series. Prismatic Geoscope is a 5-mana artifact that enters the battlefield tapped and has Domain. Tap it to add X mana and any combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. To find out our opinions on the card, check out the episode currently on youtube.com/StarCityGames or StarCityGames.com. That's our show for today, October 24th. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel to keep up with all the latest Magic news and strategy. I'm Jeremy Knoll, and this has been Split Second. Bruce Tarl Burish Herder. Burl Herder. Bruce Tarl Burish Herder. Rural Juror. That's all I'm seeing.